Welcome to the Snickcast, the podcast that breaks down Nickelodeon's most iconic Saturday night lineups.
Join us as we discuss childhood favorites like Are You Afraid of the Dark, Kenan and Kel, and everything in between.
And today we're traveling back to Saturday, September 5th, 1992.
Living life in a 90s dream. And Snick is on the TV, laughing with my best buddy. Yes, Snick, heck, so right. Nickelodeon all night.
I'm going to mix it up a little bit because I just don't want to, I feel like this is a good icebreaker, but number one song in the country?
What was it?
Boys to Men. I mean, we are just at the beginning. This is week 4 of their domination.
This is the start of the road.
This road is pretty much going to go through the whole season of Snick, which is pretty amazing.
Wow, spoiler alert. Hello.
I know. So, do not Google how long was Boys to Men Into the Road number 1.
Wow.
So let's get to the movies. Number 1, Nick Cage still hanging out in Vegas. Maybe he's doing a little honeymooning in Vegas.
Then what? I'll be arrested, put in airport jail? Just get your ticket and move on, okay? Get your goddamn ticket and move on!
A good second week. 10 million. 20 million so far. Number 2, Clint. He's still, in 1992, he's probably 70. He's still number 2. But number 2, Unforgiven.
I've always been lucky when it comes to killing folks.
3, Single White Female.
And I won't say a word, okay?
Yeah, well, you won't have to say a word, sweetheart, because I'm going to tell her myself.
No!
4, those pets are hanging out in the cemetery for deuces.
No brain, no pain. Think about it.
And number 5, Death Becomes Her.
Who could have imagined you and me together, depending on each other, painting each other's asses?
Death Becomes Her is thriving on Broadway currently, so...
Oh, that's right.
Kudos to the gals.
Well, and about to say, the movie is Goldie Hawn versus Meryl Streep. In that battle royale, who do you have?
Are we talking then or now? Because I think if we're going now, Meryl Streep is no questions asked.
Yeah, but 80s Goldie.
Exactly. The fight. We're going to go a couple rounds.
Exactly.
Back then. Now I think we're out in a round and a half. Meryl's just going to lay it down.
Yeah, when Goldie says, I was in the sequel to my husband's Santa Claus movie. Meryl's like, I got nominated for Oscars 10 years in a row or something like that. So... She's like, I am the Boys to Men of Oscar nominations. Well, that's a discussion. We can have this debate another time. But you know what? I think it's time for us to get maybe to the great debate. This is a real fun episode of Clarissa. By the way, almost everything's a new episode this weekend.
Here we are, 4 episodes deep, and we finally got 4 brand new episodes.
Well, we're talking too soon on Ren and Stimpy, my man. But
I mean, fair enough. but new stuff is being addressed tonight.
Exactly. So, synopsis is a great debate. A great debate begins after the Darlings realize that Marshall's dream project is the same planned mini-mall development being protested by Janet. That's Mrs. Darling. Clarissa worries that the debate may result in divorce. Ooh. Nah. Was this a thing? I guess this might be considered personal.
Oh, yeah. Divorce dated way back before our time.
Wait, divorce was not new?
No, Clarissa did not invent or explain it to us.
Oh my gosh. Was divorce a thing you thought about? Like you're... It makes me sound like I'm like, were you thinking about divorce often?
It wasn't a thing at like school where like you heard your friends' parents are getting divorced. You're like, well, I want my parents to get divorced too. That's cool. I don't think it had the same appeal.
But I'll say because I do remember though there was one kid that I was always like, I want to go to a sleepover at his mom's house, but not his dad's house. So his dad tried to be way too much the cool dad, and it was just really. He's like,
Ugh.
"You boys want to watch Predator shirtless? Come on." I might have just given away whose dad that was, but
Well, what was the mom sleepover like?
she just left us alone. She just left us alone.
Okay.
Always, that's the thing. Dads never get. See, divorce was, I guess, a big thing for me. I guess the
It sounds
dad
like
always.
your Predator dad had at least better snacks.
Predator dad was really. He like realized like, oh yeah, we need to get food. Mom, that guy's mom always like had food ready, favorite drinks. But yeah, his dad. If I wanted to drink a beer. His dad's
Shirtless.
Shirtless.
I mean, it's kind of how this episode started to play out.
I mean, I will say, there was one time watching these episodes, I was just sitting in my living room with like just in my underwear watching Snick, and I was like, this just doesn't feel right.
It's not the same.
I was like, I was sitting there just like, I'm an adult male just sitting here writing notes too. I'm taking notes about what these kids are doing, and I was sweating.
Guilty as charged. Okay.
Guilty as charged. It was right around the time Ferguson came up with a new master plan.
Then I decided I needed to pause this and get fully clothed.
Yeah, I was like, let me
I need to have.
put
pants
some
on
long
for
johns
this.
on at least. So, I mean, this episode's pretty straightforward. Kind of, how does Clarissa start this episode?
I mean, I agree with you. This was a fun one when I had pants on. Clarissa starts off in a room explaining that there's two sides to everything and that her teacher, Mr. Futstein, I thought I heard Buttstein, but I think it's Futstein. But this current debate that Futstein lays out for his class is that the kids need to pick an issue that can be debated in class, and Clarissa's trying to find out what her topic will be. She goes through pros and cons of different things. Papa Marsh comes downstairs with a blanket over a giant platter of sorts, and he's about to head out, and Clarissa's like, what's going on? And he shows her, he's like, listen, can you keep a secret? And she says, well, I can't unless you tell me. Which I thought was pretty clever of her. And Dad,
I'm gonna start using that.
I know. That's how you get it out of people. Papa Marsh unveils the sheet, and it's this model that he's made for a mini mall design. Which, sidebar, Marsh notoriously hates mini malls, apparently.
Yeah. And this is not, to me, it doesn't seem mini. It's a 3-story mini mall.
This is an epic mini mall called the Quick and Jiffy All-in-One Mini Mall or something along those lines.
Now, does like at a mini mall, I'm trying to think of what's the difference between a mini mall and so it's like a Spencer's Gift. Is that at a mini mall or is that only at a big mall? What about Claire's? Is Claire's at a...
to me, these are things that could be at either. A PacSun at a mini mall.
A Walden Books, maybe?
I don't know. That's the thing. And at Marshall's mini mall, we could have these things and more because he's made a metropolis of mini malls in his design. But he notoriously hates mini malls. But for some reason, he's got the newest design that he's actually really jazzed about because he's figured out how to do it right.
He's like, and make a lot of money.
Lots of dough. Then we get Ferg comes into the picture, and he wants a dog. And I kind of love this.
What is the reason he says he wants the dog?
I don't know, but he pitches to his dad that this is a way for him to show that he can handle responsibilities, and he does make this really rather detailed plea of why he should have a dog. Pops is a little uncertain about it, and he tells Clarissa this is a secret. He jets out. Ferg's like, "What's the secret about?" She's like, "Don't worry about it, Ferg." She doesn't have time to explain what it is for Ferg.
We're like, that's the name of the show.
We'll get to the kitchen, and Mom is in the middle of making some protest signs that are for stop. The protest sign says, "Stop mindless malls, save the ginkgo."
Did you know the ginkgo was a tree?
I had to look it up before she goes into it, but I did think it was one of the Geico gecko situations.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was like a interesting, like a little species or something.
I mean, I was gonna say it's just a little tree. It's not. They're big, glorious trees. Yeah. Ferg's also proposing to Mom why he wants a dog. Mom doesn't think it's a great idea, but then she has this light bulb of oh, you know what? Let's have a trial run with this dog thing. As she calls up a neighbor that is looking for someone to walk their dog, the the Bluefinkles. The Bluefinkles have a Rottweiler, and
Okay, it was a Rottweiler. I was trying to remember. I was like, what kind of?
and Ferg is like, I don't know. He starts questioning it, but Mom makes the call, and Ferg's got a dog walking job. We'll test her and see if he can handle it.
Yeah, I mean, and he's doing this for free too. There's not any money involved, so that's why I was trying to figure out what the ploy was.
I mean, to our knowledge, he's not making any coin.
That's true. That's true. We don't know what this guy's up to.
Well, then now we kind of get the picture that, this great debate, which I thought coming into it is like, Clarissa's going to have to like run for student body president or something and debate somebody. And it's not. We get the lay of the land is Marsh and old Mama Darling are going to be duking it out.
They're on opposite sides of this mini mall thing.
And it's not good. Two of our favorite characters are having to battle it out. Clarissa then goes on to explain famous battles in history. Mom and Pops are kind of reenacting all these things. There's like Columbus and the flat earth. They argue with each other in this flashback.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There's like this ice cream war where they put chocolate and vanilla on each other. There's boys versus girls in a sandbox. Then we get Sam back in the picture. He's up there trying to throw ideas out to Clarissa on what their debate topic should be. And I thought he had a pretty good one. I don't know about you. He's like, why don't we do pizza crusts as a debate topic? And he said there's deep dish, there's hand toss, there's thin crust.
I mean, listen, you know what? That actually, because you can have a bunch of different arguments on that one. And at that age, that's a great one for a class.
In your opinion, what crust would win in that debate?
These days, it's a mid-level crust, like a little bit of fluff. I like a thin crust. I'm a thin crust guy.
So you're like thin to hand tossed range.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not a deep dish, Chicago style pan.
I'm not an animal. That's called lasagna. It's called lasagna, isn't it? I mean, I don't mean to be. It's just a bread around. There's.
We're gonna have a debate because as a Giordano, there's a famous line of pizzerias in Chicago that are famous for their deep dish pizza.
Yes.
So I think we're on different sides of the coin here.
No, let's debate this.
But also, I am one of the rare Italians that maybe doesn't do so well with gluten. So
wait.
Pizza crust.
So since you know so much, you're the Giordano deep dish mafia.
Yes, exactly.
Now when the hit goes out on me, everyone will know. But
you know where it's going to come. Your blood will be just marinara sauce.
You're gonna put a horse's head. You're gonna put a horse's head dunked in marinara sauce in my bed.
Yes, it'll be seeping olive oil.
No, that's what it needs to be. It needs to be just like a sausage, just like or pepperoni, like a giant stick of pepperoni, dipped in marinara sauce, put in my bed sheets.
You're gonna get
and it makes sense. I live in California. You live in just like in Duval, going out there and doing it in the movie.
Exactly.
Oh, but okay. But what I was going to ask, and this is, ladies and gentlemen, we just stumbled upon a great tangent. What is the difference between Chicago deep dish and Detroit deep dish?
Ooh, this is a very good question. And I hope people are throwing this out at snickcast@gmail.com because I can't say that I know, to be honest with you.
Interesting. I wonder if theirs is, I feel like one of them I've been told is more bready than the other one. Wait, so how often are you eating deep dish now? Are you just like, is that all?
It's been a minute. But when I was eating it, I was going deep dish. I see you were thin to hand toss. I went hand toss to deep dish.
So we were kind of like two sides of
which for debate. We land on
this is a great this couldn't have worked out better that we actually on air had a real difference of opinions. Yeah. And now I hate you more than absolutely anything.
I truly, man.
This hasn't brought us together. This has torn us apart.
Let's just ask one further then. If you're going to order pizza, where are you ordering it from?
Like you talk about are you talking about at one of the chains?
Sure.
I mean, I got a couple of local places throughout Joe Peeps. One that has a name for you, Brooklyn Pizza Wagon. I got a couple.
I bet that's false, right there.
Yeah, I mean, those guys talk. It's almost like when someone says they're just from the South and they have a Southern accent, and you're like, yeah, I mean, maybe you're South adjacent or something. Like when these guys have their accents. Of course, now I can never go buy from there if they ever listen to this. But it's but from the chains. What's the chain one that you would go to?
Chain wise guy. That's around here. I don't know. It probably would be a Domino's because we don't have a lot of options because we have more mom and poppy shops here.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that the place we go to the most is called Billy's, which is not anything Italian or pizzeria sounding. But they make a good slice. Billy makes a good slice.
That's all that matters.
What about you, chain wise?
Oh, I think we have a nostalgia podcast. I definitely think Pizza Hut.
Okay.
Pizza Hut just to me reminds me of a little book. When you read a book, you got the sticker,
you book
and then eventually,
yeah. And I worked a few summers at a Pizza Hut, so if I had one nearby, I probably would go the same way.
Oh
so
man,
do
you have any secrets? Any secrets of the hut? How much cocaine do they put in the dough? That's because it's so
only
addictive.
In the stuffed crust. Only in the stuffed crust. Anyway, we digress. Sam brings up a very good debate point as we've
Sam, thank you.
Sam really just brought it home. Well, the next we see, Ferg is being ripped apart by the Blue Finkel's dog, but he made a gold mine in some cash. He got paid for doing his dirty work, but his clothes are a wreck, and the dog seems to have drug him all across the neighborhood. Mom and Dad are both excited about their meetings that they went to about their supposed projects, and they haven't revealed to each other what it is yet. Mom hasn't had time to make dinner, so she went to Tofu to Go, which I'm assuming does not serve pizza.
Tofu, does it go in a deep dish? Does it go in a deep dish?
You can't even stuff that crust with that stuff. Well, Marsh reveals that he's got this mini mall project that he's so excited about, and this is maybe the most mad I think I've seen Mama Darling.
She's pretty upset.
She's not
passionate too. There's a passion in her eyes.
As most protesters are. They're super passionate.
Yeah.
Clarissa gives us an old school news update. It's a black and white newspaper, flashes of what's happening. Construction starts on Friday. The protest is going to start the same day. Mom and Dad are at odds. Ferg is bonding with a bunch of pups, and by bonding, we just get a bunch of pups barking. Sam comes back, and Clarissa's explaining what's happening in the house.
Is she explaining it all to him?
She's explaining it all to him. And Sam goes on to explain Sam explains it all. That it's a spin-off show. Sam explains
that's a spin-off.
Your folks are fine. If they're arguing, that's a good thing. If they're saying they're having a discussion, that's when you're in trouble. Pops comes in and he needs aspirin because he's, all the timelines and things he has to do. And the mom comes in, she as well has a headache, and they're like, "Oh, we're fine. We're just having a discussion." Dun, dun, dun. And that's where the big D, the big divorce combo comes in, I think.
I think I consciously thought of that too. I was like, as a kid, I'd be pretty stressed out if they just said.
Just seeing that. Parents not even yelling at each other. They're just openly like tension in the air.
Yeah.
Well, Ferg seizes the opportunity, walks in and tells Clarissa, "Listen, if parents split up, I'm calling the TV."
That man has priorities.
A pure dirtbag, which we love. The parents they're on their way to the protest / the groundbreaking, and Clarissa, through Mr. Futstein's teaching, which seems like he's a pretty good teacher, he must have explained enough to Clarissa to explain that she gets her parents to sit down, and she's like, "Listen, in class we learned that each side needs to come up with a reason why the other side is maybe a good idea. Mom and Dad do this with each other, and then Mom says something along the lines of like, yeah, I wish you could have made that beautiful design you made way back in the day where you had the atrium. Ba-boom, light bulbs go off. Pops
exactly.
Like, oh, atrium. We could still do the mini mall with an atrium to keep the ginkgo around. Oh.
He's like, we'll put that where the Walden Books was going to be.
That way people won't debate if it's a mini mall or an actual mall. Well, Clarissa comes home, her assignment really, really well, because her and Sam decided to actually use Mom and Pop's debate about the mall and the ginkgo trees. Ferg now has a full-on dog walking business. He's walking multiple dogs, and he is raking in the dough.
The man is smart. I mean, besides that insider trading later in life, the man is smart.
You got to give it to him.
Hey, you know what? We learned a lot on this episode, but I think we should get some more education.
can go down to where the music and the fun never ends. As long as the music keeps playing, you know what I'm saying. I know that I can find a way.
This episode has like a couple of names. It was Education, School Days. I've seen that name thrown out also for this one. I just think it's interesting.
Listen, both of those titles seem to work for this.
I say both fit perfectly. And guess what? It's a fresh drop too. Brand new episode. So,
we love it. We love to see
getting
it.
that fresh taste of it. This episode, pretty much what the name implies. The everyday struggles of education are highlighted, including struggling in school and daydreaming. Man.
Did you daydream a lot as a kid?
Oh, too much. Too much.
Yeah.
I did not pay attention in class in the slightest.
Did it ever cost you?
All the time. All the time. I mean, I don't want to give away too much about stuff later on in this episode, but that whole math segment of this episode, that is me to a T. Just try not to do any math whatsoever, because I just honestly would zone out and just start thinking about daydreaming about everything else in the world.
Math is difficult to pay attention through. I think at all levels of education. Dude, this episode jumps out. We got Pops on the chair doing his thing. They kind of explain like what the first few years of your life are like, where you're dumb and stupid until you're 5 and you can get away with anything. Once you're 5, though, now you're in school. And they give a cop kind of comes in and like gives like a sentence.
School did feel like prison. At times to me. So
you had to go. You had to
go.
To
you felt like no freedom. Yeah. You were about to say you had to take the tests. You had to go to lunch when you was time. So yeah, looking back, very I can see why kids feel that way.
The freedom you had at recess was not on your time. It was on their time.
You'd have those people and you'd have that old timer who was walking the yard and you're like, what happened to him? Oh, he failed 5th grade 4 times.
I did love that their principal was like a giant cardboard box head that sounded like Mr. Bone from Doug.
Yeah, definitely has that sort of voice.
With a little bit of like a Charlie Brown teacher vibe where you don't see their face. He starts off that they're going to get consent forms that need to be signed for a field trip coming up. The field trip is going to be to the waste treatment facility.
Nothing like waste management.
What a cool field trip. But the silver lining here is that Miss Riker, our main boy's teacher crush, is the one hosting the field trip. So we gotta go on that field trip. Did you have any teacher crushes?
Oh, yes, of course. When you talk about that daydreaming, listen, it's I blame those teachers for my bad grades.
I feel like all teachers need to be above a certain age to teach certain ages.
Yes.
Oh man. Maybe we could figure out this school crush daydream thing where, like, if she's 80, 90 on her way out, maybe the fantasies are going to be a little less.
Yeah, I mean, still hot, but
yes, correct. And it's a maybe. That's a hard maybe, not a guarantee. Mm-hmm. But But
I'm with you, and especially in high school, because you'd have these teacher assistants or teacher aides that were from the college who would come in, and they were like, they're only like 3 or 4.
Older.
Yeah. And sometimes I'd be like, geez, you look my age.
Yeah.
So
what are we doing here? But if we go on to find that's a thing here. The first thing they did was like a little shop teacher of horrors, and they go to shop class. The shop teacher already has limbs missing. We move on.
Did you have a shop class? Did you ever?
I didn't take it.
But you did have one at your school. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was blended with our auto mechanics class, where there's a small percentage of the school that took those classes. And nowadays, though, those guys are geniuses because they're the only ones that can fix or do anything. And all of us that didn't take those classes are kicking ourselves.
I could change my oil. It's like good job.
Could. You still go get it changed by a professional.
Yeah, I still go to Jiffy Lube as often as possible.
Well, then we get Crystal Lewis is fantasizing about her crush, who at the time is Marky Mark, and she's in her notebook going, Mrs. Marky Mark, and Mrs. She's fantasizing.
But how you're not doing the voice the way she does it?
You do.
How does she do?
I don't know.
Okay, let me get into Mrs. Marky Mark, Miss Marky Mark. Miss Marky Mark. Like she has like that
I think
totally
you're spot on.
Yeah, thank you.
It's spot on. You can do the rest of them because she
Okay, cool. Yeah.
she crushes a lot of these. But she's writing in her notebook and kind of putting all of her like who she'll be married to in the future. We get a homework excuses ad that's like from Excuse Co. There's yes, my dog did actually eat my homework book, which was pretty
Yes.
fun. All these excuses of
That's a great one. That was actually a really good one.
Then we have a substitute teacher that's presented, and the class goes party.
And this is 100. I even wrote that this is 100% true. There's even a great line where one of them says, "Oh, if I knew we were gonna have a substitute, I would have worn my other outfit or something like that."
Yeah,
it is so true. When you knew that there was a substitute, oh man, it was game on.
Oh, and they let it out. They had a bonfire. There was a dance party song. They let loose, which we did too.
And they kind of, they're like, "I'm a substitute teacher. I'm probably here for today and maybe tomorrow at the teachers, and then I'm going to another school in the district or something." So,
and they they always comply to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Well, naturally, the next thing is a disobedience fragrant ad, which I feel like is appropriate for the subs. Then there's our main guy. I think Vinny is his name. Our blonde, half bowl cut cat.
Yeah.
He fakes sick because the math test is coming up. A really hard math test is coming up, as it says, and mom's not kind of buying it. And then here's this: if he signs it, you can go. And this Field of Dreams type vibe happens. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, I got to get this permission slip signed so I can go on the field trip to the waste management thing."
Waste management golf tournament. I just want to say waste management golf tournament.
Yeah, clearly on my mind. To the waste treatment facility with his crush. Dad's not going to do it unless they pass the test. And then they have this new aged math as an ad for like B1 with pi and 3, and these hippy dippy people that study math in a very different way. Crystal Lewis then crushes on Sir Mix-a-Lot, which sounded a lot like
Mrs. Mix-a-Lot. Miss Mix-it-a-lot. Mrs. Anaconda wants some Mix-a-lot.
Again, that was a beautiful soundbite that I was able to find through the Roundhouse moving on YouTube. We get the next thing we get is a ready letter from Slugmasters, and it's like pre-written notes that you can pass in class with like blanks left for you.
Genius idea. I hated writing notes to people in class.
And then passing them was such a task, so that was really great. Then Crystal Lewis has a crush on Jay Hawkins, and it sounded a lot like
Mrs. J. Hawkins, Miss Hawkins, Miss Hawkins to ya.
Exactly like that. The sub has to go into sex education, and that is eruption in class, and they have a song about it. Everybody's uncomfortable. It's very weird, but they sing and dance about it. Vinny is in bed sleeping, and he fantasizes about Miss Riker. Naturally.
Doesn't have to be in bed.
Hello. And there's where we get to the math, the really, really hard math test. And I think this is the moment you were talking about earlier, where we pan down 3 different students, where one gets their test, starts it, and the starting of a car engine goes. The next one starts it, starting of a car engine goes. And then Vinny gets it, and the car can't start.
Yeah.
And then they go back through each student. The car's cruising, car still hasn't started. They go back through them again, and now they're like taking off like planes and rockets, and then Vinny still hasn't started. Test is over. Vinny didn't even take it. Crystal Lewis then crushes on Flea.
Mrs. Flea, Mrs. Bzzz, Mrs. Flea, Mrs. Flea Pepper.
It was a great, great crush segment. The principal brings on the vice principal, and they're both like Mr. Bone, but they face each other, and there's a big feedback kind of segment. There's a mayonnaise helper, which is kind of like a hamburger helper ad, but it's kind of a hand scoop where you can get the bottom of the mayonnaise, which is so gross.
The only trivia on IMDb for this episode was that was vanilla pudding.
That was my guess. There's no way Dad is
mayonnaise
chowing down on it.
Because I actually like mayonnaise on stuff, just a light spread. But when I see people gulping it down, gosh. It gets me every time.
Oh, it's like
And
a
not in a
handful
hot
of
way.
sauerkraut and coleslaw and mayonnaise. Yum.
Oh, God, man.
Well, anyway, from there, they have to have a parent-teacher conference because Vinny didn't even take his test. He clearly failed. He didn't get to go to the waste management facility.
Golf tournament.
To this golf tournament.
I think that's the only reason I can think he'd be really excited.
It's the 16th hole where everyone gets wasted. He's upset about it, and his teacher crush is going to be there. But anyway, they have to get a tutor for him, and that's a real bummer. And the tutor happens to be Miss Riker's younger sister, who looks
Boing.
hello, Shawing, who happens to look just like Miss Riker and is played by the same actress.
Isn't that convenient?
Well, how about that? Well, she's like, "Oh, I'm Miss Riker's younger sister," and he's like, "Whoa, cool!" And she says, "Before we can get started, though, there's something I've been dying to tell you." And he goes, "Oh, sure, go ahead. Reprise the theme song, roll the credits."
Keep watching. There's more Snick coming up next.
This episode of Snickcast is sponsored by Mr. Bucket from Milton Bradley.
Mr. Bucket.
That's right. I'm Mr. Bucket. I'm Mr. Bucket. Toss your balls on my top. I'm Mr. Bucket. Out of my mouth they will pop. I'm Mr. Bucket.
Whee!
We're all gonna run. I'm Mr. Bucket. Buckets of fun.
The game's Mr. Bucket. The first to get their balls into Mr. Bucket wins, but look out, because the balls will pop out of his mouth.
I'm Mr. Bucket. The balls pop out of my mouth. I'm Mr. Bucket. A ball is what I'm about. I'm Mr. Bucket.
Whee!
We're all gonna run. I'm Mr. Bucket. Buckets of fun.
Mr. Bucket from Milton Bradley.
Buckets of fun.
And now, back to the Snickcast.
All right, we're with our best buds. For this one, we only have one segment of an episode. So it's Space Madness, because in the Army and Space Madness paired together, we've already done in the Army. So we're just doing Space Madness. Gosh darn. I'm getting the madness. I'm getting the Space Madness just saying this. This is crazy. Listen, this episode is just about Ren and Stimpy on a journey through space. They find true danger is space madness, a cabin crazy condition that Ren succumbs to. This is a nice bonkers episode that gets wilder and wilder as it goes.
I think bonkers is the correct word for it. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, so they're watching like Stimpy's favorite show, which is like a space sort of show.
He has a lot of favorite shows.
Yeah, he has his fairy tale story time ones. He has all these different ones. But yeah, this is his new favorite one because he has the outfit come in the mail, right? Or he has
that's right. His favorite live action drama. I think that's what he
favorite
calls it.
And the winner for favorite live action drama.
What was the name of the show? Is it Space Madness? Are they watching?
No, it's not. But I did. Listen, we were just talking about how we didn't do enough schoolwork. I did not write that down.
I didn't catch it either. But it is his favorite. He's got all the gadgets, all the costumes. He has the anti-gravity bubble gum that comes with it. He is a true Fire fan. There's a black hole. There's an iconic lengthy scream that they share with each other. And then there's this Roger, Roger over the mic. And they're like, we hear you, Roger. And Roger pops up and goes, Roger.
Yeah, that's a good
name.
one.
Roger pops up. They show that the spaceship is floating through space, but it's a wind-up, like,
really
toy.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, just a very imaginative, but also kind of like creepy at the same time. I don't know. Ren Stimpy always has like a very unsettling vibe to it as well.
I think the score to a lot of it really drives that. Like,
yeah.
Whoa, God, this is terrifying.
When you start thinking about like with Ren, when he has that thing pumping, I can't even explain like that tube pumping stuff into his
through his forehead.
Yeah, like it's just very unsettling. I mean, like it's something you'd see like in a Cronenberg film or something. Just it kind of just just is gross, but also you can't look away.
Which is true to the madness.
But then you got Stimpy next to him with the helmet only to the top of his nose.
Down on
yeah, top of the nose.
They're on a 36-year mission, and Ren's kind of giving his inner monologue about how people go crazy and get the space madness. They get a break time together, and they decide to spend some quality time together, and Stimpy taps on the table, and that slowly becomes, like, super annoying to Ren.
Oh, yeah.
He snaps and loses his mind. They want a hot 3-course meal, and it's just a tube of stuff that Ren just loses his shit over it.
Have you ever eaten space food before? Have you ever?
I had the dried like ice cream.
You did the dry ice cream? Yeah, that's. I mean, I think that's one of the nicer examples. I've done the, like, they did the tube of like, gosh, what was it meant to taste like? A turkey dinner? Oh boy,
What
it's
did it
gross.
taste like?
Tastes like every ingredient just smushed together. It tastes like, when oh gosh, everyone's gonna hate this. When like you burp and like you taste all the flavors of what you ate.
Yum.
Oh baby. Oh gosh, I'm being grotesque just like this. Just like a Ren Stimpy episode.
How does it compare to like those Harry Potter like jelly beans that are like real
Oh,
flavored?
that tastes like vomit and stuff like that.
Is it like that?
Yeah, that's probably the best. That's actually one of the best versions you could like, best like comparisons.
I think
you
the
use. But there-
guise of a jelly bean makes it sound okay.
yeah, well, but you have to chew a jelly bean. You're not chewing
Oh,
the
this is just
squirt tube.
paste.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah. I don't. And it looks
Yeah,
like.
and if you've ever seen an astronaut put ketchup on something in space, I don't want to eat ketchup. If you watch that, it just looks disgusting, just floating in the air, just like a red fucking turd just floating around. Just looks so gross.
It's probably why these animators chose to cover this.
Yeah, I was like, now I know why. Now I know why they did it. How quickly do you think you could, me and you, in a space station with each other? After we get done with the deep dish discussion, how long? How long do you think we could tolerate each other?
Well, I do think you're a guy that brings a lot of positive vibes. So compared to the normal person, I'd say maybe a normal person, 72 hours. I'd say we could go 100 hours before.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I like this.
Before
Yeah,
it starts going, okay, I need a few minutes.
I'll say because Stimpy gets or Ren gets in that bath. I'd probably get in that bath after 100 hours. I'd be like, it's time for private time. We
Yeah,
light some candles in space.
You're welcome to draw the bath for me, but then you got to go.
Yeah. There's something I would love more than you sitting on a bathtub that's being made for me, just combing it with your hand, testing the warmth of the water.
Yeah, making sure the temp's right. You know?
Yeah, like, is it good? Yeah, it's good. All right, get out of here.
Can I go?
All right.
Essentially, Stimpy does draw him this bath. He turns on the gravity off, and then Ren floats up in a perfectly cubed pool of water.
It's a pretty funny image.
Yeah, and then he fantasizes about eating real food because he's starving. He starts talking to the bar soap like it's a person, and then he thinks it's a ice cream bar. He starts eating it. Stimpy calls him crazy, and then Ren has officially just lost his mind at this point. Stimpy is tasked with guarding the history erase button.
Oh yeah, then they're like, you cannot push this button; it will erase history.
And then it's like voiceover announcer guy is like, can he resist the temptation? Stay tuned next week and see if he can resist. And he keeps going and going. And eventually the voiceover guy comes out onto screen and is live commentating, Ren debating, pushing it. And then Stimpy eventually presses and they vanish. And they literally... They go to credits, and the credits have them vanish from it. It's them on stage vanish. Everything about the show they just vanish from.
True madness.
True madness.
I'd say that's twisted, but it ain't no twisted claw. We're back around the campfire. Well, not yet. Not first. Not at first. This is the tale of the twisted claw. I think this is a very interesting episode. So, in a twist of the monkey paw story, two boys harass an old lady the night before Halloween, which I didn't know was called
Mischief Night or
Mischief Night. I didn't know that. The next night, Halloween, she gives them a wooden vulture foot that grants wishes and curses. This is a fun episode, but I think we just got to tell this right now. This was the original pilot episode.
Yeah, did we know this?
I didn't know this. So this explains why there's a cold open.
Yeah, and
story.
The whole episode is kind of shot in a different way. It's very cinematic in a different way than regular episodes are. My Wikipedia research and my other podcast listening to Are You Afraid the Podcast, I think, covered this a little bit too. Nickelodeon originally made this like one-off scary episode for television around Halloween that happened to be this episode. And I guess it did so well that they were like, okay, I guess we need to make a show out of this.
Yeah.
And
And
then
they
they
recast the whole Midnight Society from what I'm reading.
put them in and then added that. It was really kind of crazy. And that I think it's really bizarre that they made this episode 4.
Yeah. I guess they're like, it's not, once we had to add all the stuff to make it a more length, I guess they were like, it's not as good as we thought it was.
I mean, from what we've seen so far, it's not the best. It's also not the worst.
No, it's not. Well, I'm sure we got some real duds coming up as well, but
Probably.
But I mean, we've had an iconic episode already, episode 2. So
I mean, yeah, we've got the actor that plays Dr. Vink has already showed himself twice. So
gosh, get more Vink. That's all I can say. Get more Vink.
Give us those teeth.
But I like that this opened with that cold open like cliffhanger.
And it was pretty scary.
That was a really good one.
They start with this kid in bed. There's a billowing of fog, like a noticeable amount of fog. Like I feel like we're going to see more fog like this as episodes go on. But there was a billow.
Such a large amount of fog.
It comes up under this door, and this kid is sleeping, and this hooded dark figure like slinks out over his bed. The kid screams and wakes up, and he's like, "Wow, I hate that dream." And then the hooded figure is still there in the daylight.
You're about to say in the light.
Ooh, man.
There's always something about something that's scary in the light that I like it. Yeah. When there's something scary in the light. Oh, man.
We're talking about, go back to Dr. Vink. We're talking about the clown there at the carnival.
Yeah.
Like, there were some daylight scares there. That something is pretty, like, scary when things come in the daylight.
Now, who was telling the story, though?
So, little dweeby Eric is telling this unfinished story, and everybody's really into it, and they get spooked, and then they're like, well, where's the end? And he's like, I haven't thought of it yet. I think because he's already been inducted into the Midnight Society, he's not going to get a rock back of the head.
Yeah, he knows he's not dying anytime soon.
An unfinished story, though, does deserve that. Worth noting. But
I feel like we came around the campfire, and you've told us a 5-minute story. And now you're like, till next time.
It's good enough. We'll let you live. Then they pass it off to David, and they say, which I thought this was odd that they aired this as number 4, said, "Oh, David, it's been a while since you told a story." But he literally just did last week.
It was the week
You're following chronologically. He did episode 3.
I mean, now in reruns, I guess it doesn't really matter anymore, but that's pretty funny. I mean, David, to me, I also got to say, just always seems so sad and tormented. Like David,
beyond his years.
Yeah, he's the one who seems like there's some dark stuff. There's a dad who watches Predator shirtless at his house.
That's why he's out there, is to get away from it. I got a new story.
Yeah.
This one involves boys, not girls.
I want to tell you a story about a bunch of young ladies.
Well, anyway, our sentimental, wounded David tells a story. It's Mischief Night, which is AKA the night before Halloween. And it looks like this house is being vandaled right out of the gate. People are toilet papering the trees, shaving cream in a car. We get our main
Not even that bad, though. Actually, that was a pretty tame version.
We get our main character, Kevin and Dougie, which, a sidebar, Kevin is the same character that was in the unfinished Eric story. So I don't know how David is telling the story with the same kid actor in his story.
Wait, is David, is he able to get into other people's minds?
That's why he's so sensitive.
Yeah. What if he's just like, oh yeah, and one of the guys was just in the other story? It's like, Eric's like, you can't take my characters.
Well, anyway, Kevin from the cold open and Dougie are sneaking around. They go to what they call the witch's house, and it's a house no one goes up to. One of those classic scary houses.
Did you have that in your town? Did you have a house that...
We did have, and many years later we learned that they were Jehovah's Witnesses, but there was a house.
it's like later we found out it's just we just didn't understand.
Nobody trick-or-treated there. There was never lights on it. It just seemed really run down, and that no one lived there, but it was just Jehovah's Witnesses. Did you have one?
I think we always had that. Yeah, there was a creepy house. But
Everybody's got one.
yeah, I think it was an old man was at that house.
Okay.
Yeah. Wasn't the substitute teacher from Vietnam though, but
What
but
a
it was
shame.
someone like that. Like he just kind of like he like all the signs and not get on the
You
lawn.
stayed away. Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't need to be here or linger here. Well, anyway, Dougie, the wilder of the two, convinces them that they need to go up to the witch's house and play a prank on her because they're shaving cream and all that they can. Well, they ring the doorbell, they shave cream. The second the door opens, spray. They essentially blind this old woman.
That one took
Shaving
some
cream.
fucking guts because I would never, in
Ugh.
my most menacing young child phase, ever do something like
Oh,
that.
it was way too much, and they kept going. They maybe used half the bottle on her.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
like starts like coughing and gagging, and steps backwards and knocks over a vase, and it shatters. And they take off running, and then she settles from her like upsetness to this evil laugh. And we're
Yeah,
like,
she gets
okay,
excited.
This bitch is a witch. She goes ballistic.
And she's like, Mrs. David? It's like, Mrs. David Sr.
It was a very creepy ending. We fade to the next day, and our guy Kevin is in a costume that can only be described. He's got a white sheet on and an Abe Vigoda mask. Which I got. Where does this kid get an Abe Vigoda mask? I don't know, but there's no other way to describe his costume.
I mean, it's clearly not meant to be Abe Vigoda, but it looks.
But it is.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I wonder if like we just watch so much Conan and stuff like that, and I like and the Godfather. He's the one who puts the horse's head in the bed.
Exactly. Abe Vigoda is very prominent in this episode of the Snick cast.
But it looks dead on like Abe Vigoda.
I defy anybody to tell
Which
us
if I saw a
who this
kid
is.
wearing that, I think it'd be that'd be the most impressive. I'd be so excited
Kid
walking
would
down the
get
street.
all of my candy.
Yeah, if I saw a kid, I was like, "Are you dressed as Abe Vigoda?"
This is legendary. The kid is innovative.
You're Abe Vigoda in a white sheet. Like Abe Vigoda always wore like suits and stuff. So you're like, no, I'm creepy Abe Vigoda.
I'm Ghost Abe Vigoda.
Okay, so it's like I would give that kid all the candy.
He doesn't even try to do anything else. He spent all his money on the mask. Which could explain why he tries to scare his dad on the couch reading a newspaper, and his dad is not scared at all.
You look like Abe Vigoda, son.
Son, what are we doing?
Oh,
Get out of here.
But I gotta ask on it now. Who is he supposed to? Is he a god? Is that a goblin mask? And do goblin masks just look like Abe Vigoda?
There's no explanation for it, and there really is no other. There's no other thing it could be other than Abe Vigoda.
I rewound it a couple of times because I was like, does he say what it is that he is?
He doesn't, because his buddy Dougie comes in and is like, hey, I'm a hobo again. He goes as a hobo every year, and Kevin is upset. He goes, you're a hobo every year. Why not try being something new, like Abe Vigoda?
He's like, he planned this outfit for this whole year. He's like, I gotta dress like Abe. He's like, I just love Abe Vigoda so much in The Godfather. I just want to know what that. I mean, I think it has to be like a goblin or a sorcerer,
a warlock of some sort.
But it's not. It's Abe Vigoda.
It's a very good Abe Vigoda mask.
Do you think the costume company was like, the mask company was like, we got to make something that just kind of can fit all goblin, sorcerer.
Yeah.
Hey, I know.
Old man.
Yeah,
that's what they call it.
Do you guys remember Abe Vigoda?
Yeah, none of these kids are gonna know who that is.
Yeah. 30 years later, I think he's more well known now. And I looked it up. Go ahead,
Just say,
go ahead.
Kevin goes on to scare every person that he trick or treats. He's like, "Oh my God, I have a goat in a white sheet."
From The Godfather. Oh God. So the bum and Ava go out, and they decide. I just don't get them. I also don't get like why the director. I want to see the script because the director was just like, or were they just like, we need him to be in something. The director's like, let's get I like this Ava Goda mask. Let's give him that.
This seems safe and neutral and copyright free.
Also, this is from the pilot episode. Too. This was even 1990. They filmed this one.
Did Ava Goda direct this?
It just makes no sense. Is Ava Goda? He dies in one of the early Godfathers. He's not even in Godfather 3.
Oh
So.
my God. There's no explanation for it, but yeah.
It's all you're gonna see though, guys, when you
as you watch this.
It's the image on IMDb. So if you guys want to, you go and look at that image right now. That's
Ava
it.
Goda mask. It's a spitting image. Oh, well, so the bum and Ava Goda go trick-or-treating is what the episode should have been called.
It would be the top-rated episode if it was called The Bum and Ava Goda Go Trick-or-Treat.
That's going to be the name of this episode of the Snickcast. Well, the bum and Ava Goda, they go out, they're trick-or-treating, they decide that let's go to the witch's house again, which is just a real... Without an Ava Goda mask, why would you even try? They already got in enough trouble with Mischief Night.
Yeah, bum kid's like, hey, I got a 5 o'clock a fake 5 o'clock shadow now. No, she won't even be able to tell it's us.
She definitely won't be able to tell it's you, Abe.
And he starts also talking like Abe, just like he gets so into character.
Trick or treat.
Actually, you know what? If you ask, I don't think I could tell you what Abe Goda sounded like.
Same. I from the Conan bits, it's just him just there.
He just would stand up and walk out,
surly and unhappy about it. Oh my God. Well, they trick or treat at the witch's house, and she is like trick or treat. She practically gets off on the terms trick or treat. Well, she invites them in, and naturally the stupid kids go into her house. And
he's like, she thinks I'm Ava Goda. She thinks I'm an old man.
I guess we're doing this. So pre threesome with the witch, Ava Goda, and a bum. They go in.
Sounds like a beginning of a bar joke.
So this witch, Ava Goda, and a bum walk into a house. There's a broken vase still on the floor. And the witch decides, hey, I'm not used to guests. Let me bring you this weird wooden claw. Which she does, and they're like, oh no, we just want candy. She's like, no, this is special for Ava Goda. Oh, the stops are pulled.
Nothing but the best for Ava Goda. Nothing but the best. Let me get out my good furniture, my good silverware.
My good claw for Ava Goda. So she has
like a pigeon one. She has like a bunch of. She's like, no, the raven, definitely the raven for this guy.
I gotta do this. So she has a special box. She opens it up. She gives it to him, and she insists, "You're taking this. You get 3 wishes each." Because you're Ava Goda. But she
says, mind signing a couple of things before you leave?
Before you leave. My broken vase is still on the floor. She says, be careful what you wish for. They leave. And then Abe Goda's like, I wish we could just go home and lose this stupid thing. Well, the claw lights up and they drop it. Like, whoa, that was weird. And then they round a corner and you get a 1980s kind of Karate Kid style movie, but it's a bunch of these bullies around bonfire and a trash can.
While the Abe Vigoda mask is comforting, their masks are kind of creepy to me. Like
They're very creepy.
I was gonna say, me as a kid going somewhere and seeing that like on Halloween, I would have freaked out. So
Oh, and they're dancing around a fire that's in one of those big trash pits.
yeah,
Well, they are like, "Hey, give us your candy." They try to steal it. The bum gets the nerve to say, "No, I fought. I worked hard for that." Abe Vigoda stays quiet because he's a classy dude. Well, the bullies, they get in a spill, they fall over, they decide to take off, and they go hide in some other trash cans. The bullies get on some bikes and try to chase them down. They miss them, and then they're like, "Hey, man, you got your wish. Now we get to go home, Abe." The next day, we're in school. No more Abe Vigoda mask. It stays on pause.
I'm gonna say that's the end of the Vigoda mask. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Abe Vigoda mask. But they're in by their lockers. There's going to be a 600-meter dash later in the day. That's not a school event. It's just a class event, which I thought was strange.
But there's that. I'll say that teacher is on that megaphone. It's like his mouth is like suction cup to it because he can't. He just even when he's just like, "Everyone sit down." He has it still on.
It's a very important race. Well, Kevin wishes, since they get 3 each. Kevin wishes that he could beat Bossick at the 600 meter. And Bossick is your classic All-American, good-looking, 10-and-a-half-year-old.
This kid's going to win Olympic gold.
You can just see it in his future.
Yeah. He's going to win in Atlanta and just,
he's going to take
4 or 5 short years.
He's going to take the 400-meter dash, the 4x4 relay.
No question. There were scouts there. I think we saw standing around. There was, Notre Dame.
Ready to be signed. And he's not even in middle school yet. Needless to say, Bossick being a class act at the starting line and wishes Kevin good luck, and Kevin's like, this fucking guy, too nice to me. Well, they take off in the race, and Bossick's got a commanding lead out of the gate, and he keeps it for most of this race. Everybody's cheering, they're yelling, it's all great. Kevin is yelling for Dougie, and then we hear this, the music shifts, and it gets really eerie, creepy. We hear this growling. We look behind what maybe is a ginkgo tree, this growling, and then a black dog jets out, takes off, cuts Bossick off, and he trips and falls over the dog.
I mean, that's not part of his training. You see a dog on the course, and this is an unsanctioned event. Oh, this is horrible.
Oh, it's terrible. Kevin's like, oh, geez. Bossick, Dougie hurdles him, finishes, gets first place, and the wish he wanted. He's celebrating, he gets the gold. And then I thought this was strange. The coach is like, we need an ambulance. Bossick has twisted an ankle or hurt his knee.
I know, that's what I was about to say. It was just a twisted ankle. Like, get an ambulance. This kid's bleeding eternally. Let's go.
He's going to die right here in front of us. Well,
he was my meal ticket. I was going to be
out of this dreadful elementary school. Well, so the ambulance maybe comes. We go to the Midnight Society. They're like, wow, I can't believe that. They each choose one wish. Our Midnight Society, smartest tax. Anyway, the next day, Kevin brings his medal to Dougie's house. They're hanging out. And Kevin wants to tell his folks, like, what happened. And then Dougie's like, why would you just lose your folks? He's like, whoa, no, don't say that. The claw lights up. He drops it. The phone instantly rings. It's the police. They say, hey, your parents were in a car accident. He's like, oh, no, I can't believe this. He says, I wish his gramps were here. He'd know what to do. Well,
stop saying that wish word.
There's a wish. Boom. Yeah. We hear this honking outside. There's this old school kind of like hearse looking car with some fog around it driving up. They're like, oh shit, we shouldn't have said that. Grandpa's back from the dead. The boys are now fighting over the claw because they realize they got to stop making these wishes. Well, we get this POV vision of what would be Grandpa coming up to the door slowly.
Really creepy.
Kids can feel it. It's cinematically. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Well, finally, Kevin gets the claw and says, God, I wish this never happened. Claw vanishes. Doorbell rings. They look at each other. Oh, shit. Go to the door. Yeah. They grab Abe Vigoda's gun.
Yeah, from The Godfather.
Yeah, naturally. And they open the door. Oh, my God. His parents are alive. They forgot their keys. All is well and right with the world. Dougie's medal is gone. Bossick got it because that's what was supposed to happen. Grandpa is not there, so they think, and they made the right wish, so they suspect. Well, doorbell rings again, and they go, oh my God, it's either Grandpa the ghost or Abe Vigoda.
You don't want to know which one they're rooting for.
So they inch towards the door. They slowly open it. Boom. What's on the doorstep?
A pagoda.
In the form of a vase.
Of a vase. That's right. Right. Sorry.
There's a vase. Looks exactly like the vase from the witch's place, but it's in mint condition now.
That's it. Perfect. Yeah. Not a crack.
And there's a card on top of it that says trick or treat.
And then we get this awesome shot of the witch's house, the door shutting just by itself, and the front gate shutting too. Great ending to that one.
That was a great ending. And then they go back to Midnight Society and they have this, we see a wide frame of the guys and the gals around the fire. Like I don't think we see very often.
And we know David's, he's like, I gotta go think of another great one. Gotta go home, hang out with my dad.
Watch Predator again.
All right, I think we need to answer some. Let's answer some emails and some questions. Let's take some questions.
Tune in every week. Got a question, gotta speak. Nickelodeon on the line. Let's chat. It's podcast time.
All right. So, was anything popping off for you?
On our social media, our Vine, Insta, twats, we got a bunch of stuff. People are listening, and that's an exciting thing. I'm very grateful for all these. I thought a fun one was maybe worth sharing, that it comes from someone by the name of @Bethany_row-your-boat17.
Great name.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Says, hey, if you could bring one thing from the present back to the early 90s, what would it be?
Oh.
Something from our future right now back to, I'm assuming, the days where these shows were alive and popping. What would we bring back?
Ooh. So we would take something there.
Yes.
Oh, man. I mean, the stupid answer is like, your cell phone. But I think that's not fun.
Yeah.
It's actually not.
Everybody.
Because I actually enjoyed the time. I think without having a cell phone. So I'm trying to, ooh, man. I guess, you know what? Back then we could not record shows unless we did like a VHS into the TV or something. So if we could do almost like a TiVo, record multiple shows, DVR.
Okay.
If I could take DVR back then, so then I could have multiple. I mean, also, there's that whole thing just keeping your eyes open to finish like the last, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, afterwards or something like that.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I'll piggyback on that, where I would bring back maybe like a Spotify or a Pandora, where we wouldn't have to do cassette tapes or maybe CDs, where we could just kind of cultivate our own playlists and have instant music.
Right.
Or podcasts at our disposal. I like that. DVR.
Oh, also just
Spotify.
And just to piggyback off of that, just porn being more accessible in that time.
100%.
That's I think that we just want accessibility to all the things that we like.
The instant gratification of things that we did not have in the early 90s. Those were our answers.
Yep.
At Bethany_row-your-boat17. That was a great question.
Yeah, great one.
Yeah.
So we got a nice question that actually kind of has a similar feeling to yours, I guess, but this is almost reverse. So this is from Garth Algar from Aurora, Illinois, and he asks, if I was going to show my daughter one of the shows from this lineup of Snick, which one should I show her to get her into it?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I mean, I think the obvious.
I mean, depending on how old his daughter is.
I know he didn't give me. I mean, he's seems kind of like an oldish, like rock sort of guy. So I'm assuming probably like late teens, I guess.
I auto just resort to Clarissa in this standpoint.
I think Clarissa or Roundhouse, depending on like the musical theater and her,
Yeah, I will still lean more Clarissa in that. Love Roundhouse, no doubt, but I do think as we've discussed, that they are very timely.
Yes,
and I think Clarissa has more of an evergreen feel to her, where some of the Roundhouse jokes were like very of the moment,
exactly,
and very very well done. But Clarissa, I think, has these, today's episode was pros and cons and what we debate about. I think that's still an issue, as John and I duked it out about pizza crusts.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think she sustains the test of time.
Well, we weren't doing it. It was a discussion. We just having a discussion.
Which, again, is more where Divorce Road comes.
Exactly. But I did want to say that was a great question. But I did also, I saw this, I have a Google save for the name Rebecca, just on my phone, just in case. And I can't confirm this is our girl, Rebecca, but there was a headline in the Omaha.
This is Ladder Girl, Rebecca?
This is Ladder Girl. Correct. The Omaha Daily News. There's a report that a girl named Rebecca, and I'm just not going to say the last name, escaped from a juvenile detention center just a couple days ago. Again, we hope everything's okay. I think it's just escalating. If this is really her, things are escalating. We haven't got another email from her or anything over in juvie, so I can only assume it's her.
Well, if it is, I hope we're starting to make some right decisions and that you're okay.
Exactly. Well, we just got to stick with positivity, you know.
I
and so
agree.
We're gonna bring it together. So, just as Abe Vigoda would say,
"Hey, want to go out for a deep dish pizza, baby?"
And then I would go, Mrs. Abe Vigoda, Miss Abe, the Vigodas. Let's get out of here.
Let's go.